Come with us as we explore the CSX Plymouth Subdivision throughout 2023. In this video, we focus our shots on the remaining searchlights as all are expected to fall in summer of 2024. With that, we also shoot classic power battling the Plymouth Sub's grades as they traverse through small towns. I hope you enjoy this documentary on the AFLK Productions YouTube channel. We start off our video in Grand Ledge with CSX L303 led by a YN2-9. While the Plymouth Subdivision once was a busy Detroit to Chicago corridor, the Plymouth Sub hasn't seen much use in the past 15 years. Once Canadian Pacific switched their trackage lease over to NS, the Plymouth Sub has lost trains steadily over the years. Nowadays, we are left with 3 local jobs a day, along with occasional rerouting grain trains. Another day, we see L303 with the same power crossing a creek in Lake Odessa. The next day we shoot 303 at the curve nearing Woodbury with the freshly rebuilt AC44CM on point. We chased this lash up to Gates Road near Mulligan. A week later, we find ourselves back at the curve for 303 with the -9. We were happy to document this lash up as much as we did because all C40-9Ws are in storage as of early 2024. Now, halfway through February, we shoot 303 with some Canadian visitors near Sunfield. As I'm sure you're starting to realize, L303 during the winter is our only daylight train on the west side of Lansing. 303 is on duty in Grand Rapids at 11 a.m. daily. Counterpart L302 can be seen most nights around 7 p.m. out of Lansing, which makes it only shootable after a spring time change every year. L304 is our local job that switches industries on my section of the Plymouth Sub at night. This train is based out of Lansing and goes on duty at midnight 6 days out of the week. Playing on your screen now is yet another 303 with 2 GEVOs for power. This day I went to Detroit to try to shoot 302 leave with the correct leading, but was screwed over by daylight. We would find 303 again nearing Plymouth. back on my section of the line 4 days later, we shoot a 303 with the Tier 4 GEVO leader. Trailing is CSX 439, the Spirit of Birmingham. Now into March, we see 303 in the small town of Mulligan. On the 15th, we are greeted by CSX P001, the office car special, as it begins to climb the grade at Lake Odessa. It seems to be once or twice a year the executives at CSX decide to tour the Plymouth in recent years. This gives for great searchlight shots as they normally run west in great light. 3 days later, we see a 303 with an SD50 trailing. CSX only has 5 SD50s left on the active roster as of early 2024. The next day we shoot 303 with a freshly rebuilt SD70 Mace, adding to the last ship an EMD SD40-3 trails. A week later, we shoot 303 at West End Sunfield. Today's 303 would have an increasingly rare duo of Y&2 AC 4400s. In early 2024, CSX announced they are partnering with Wabtec to rebuild all remaining 200 AC 4400s over the next 4 years. On the 15th day of April, we get to shoot our first 302 of the year in golden hour as it climbs a grade east of Woodbury. Now a week into May, we shoot a 303 east of Woodbury with another 70 mace leader. Later in the month, we see a 303 at Round Lake Road west of Sunfield. On the 28th, we shoot 303 at the more photographed shot at the west end of Sunfield. During late 2023, the thinnel on top of the signal got stolen. The thinnel once sat over a semaphore and was believed to be from the turn of the century. The next day, we shoot a 303 in my woods west of Sunfield. On the last day of May, we shoot a G126. 126 is an empty grain train destined for Marquette Rail in Grand Rapids with the final destination of the Wago. On June 23rd, we're back in my woods for another 303. On July 1st, we find ourselves back at Sunfield for a 303. We are standing on the west end of the former 5,750-foot passing siding that was taken out in November of 2020. At night, we shoot 302 as it battles the grade west of Sunfield. On July 3rd, we shoot 303 west of Sunfield at Round Lake Road. This day we were heading into Lansing, so we decided to chase this last ship to Grand Ledge. That night, we shot a loaded grain train G125 from Newaygo. G125 was en route for export in West Virginia. 4th of July, I made the hike out to the former east end of the passing siding at Sunfield. 303 today has a DC GEVO leader. Five days later, we're back at Sunfield for another 303. On your screen now, we take a look back to this location in 1992, where we see a Canadian Pacific trackage right train passing a grain train being loaded at the Sunfield elevator. This photo was taken by Jeff Williams and can be found on Railroad Pictures Archives. On the 23rd, we shoot 303 in the town of Woodbury. Another set of searchlights can be found here at the M66 crossing. 2 days later, we shoot L303 east to Sunfield. Today's 303 has CSX 911 leading. Days later, we're back at the west end of Sunfield where we see yet another AC 4400 lead 303. On the last day of July, we shoot a 302 west to Sunfield. Now into August, we shoot a 10-hour late 303 in downtown Mulligan. On a windy August 18th, we find ourselves in the middle of the former siding at Sunfield for another 303. In a field nearby, 3 sandhill cranes land. 2 days later, we set up near mile marker 118 for a 303 with 2 SD40s trailing. We then decided to give chase. Our next shot would be west of Mulligan. Today's train sort of looked like we were part of a model train layout. Now into September, we're back at the former passing siding in Sunfield. Due to recent storms, all the remaining searchlights started to act funny. Some would show red or orange when trains entered the block, and some wouldn't turn off and stayed red 24 hours a day. It was also at this time that I got my first drone, so expect more cinematic videos from here forward. an example of one of those red signals. East and Sunfield on both masts displayed reds for months before CSX patched them back up. One of the sets of searchlights on the Plymouth that doesn't receive much photographers is a set at 114. In order to access these masts, it's a mile walk from both Sawby and Round Lake Road. As we pull back, this shot is at Round Lake Road. West and Sunfield was another searchlight that started to act up. Because East and Sunfield was always on red, when an eastbound entered the block at 114, West and Sunfield would light up orange. Here on the 15th of September, we can see 303 knock down this orange signal. We gave chase to this 303 and caught back up to him at Weaton Road outside of Grand Ledge. To the east of the road stood the 105 searchlights. This was another set that had issues after the storm. Unlike East and Sunfield, these stayed off, but when provoked by an oncoming train would display reds both ways. Another less photographed set of searchlights stands at 107.9. This set requires a half-mile walk from a private drive or a mile walk from Mulligan. During the beginning of October, we shoot 303 splitting the set. To the west of Haddocks Road in Lake Odessa, you can find one of the more photogenic searchlights. The 118 searchlights are shot by hundreds of rail fans a year. Today we shoot 303 splitting them on a cold November day. We decided to chase this train east. Our next shot would be at Round Lake Road. Our final shot would be at Weaton Road, west of Grand Ledge. the last time you guys will see the 105 searchlights in this video, so I left this clip of me flying through them in here. This set was ripped out in early 2024. A few days later, we see a 303 descending the grade in Lake Odessa. We decided to chase this 303 to Dell Road east of Sunfield. The 18th, we were treated by yet another YN2 C40-9W leading 303. We decided to shoot him at the bottom of the Lake Odessa Hill. We decided to give chase to this 303. Our next shot would be at the west end of Sunfield. The next day we head back out to Lake Odessa for another 303. This one has an SD40-3 leader. While we are here, I'd like to point out the thinner on the top of this mast. This thinner, like the one at Weston Sunfield, got stolen in late 2023. A week later, we're back at the 118 Searchlight for the -9 we caught on the 18th. We are grateful for every shot we captured this unit, along with the 9006 we had in the beginning of the video. These units may never pull another train. We shot him one more time with a different style shot at Round Lake Road. The next day we shot 303 in the siding at Lake Odessa. We chased this guy to Sawby Road outside of Woodbury. Now into December, we get a treat on 303. 303 was led by CSX 3415, which wears the Georgia Road emblem. For our last train of the year, we shoot 303 at the west end of Sunfield on the 17th. I hope you enjoyed what I had to put forward for 2023 on the CSX Plymouth Subdivision. 2024 looks to be a dark year for our iconic searchlights, but with that, upgrades show wealth and how much of an asset a line is. One thing is for sure, and that is that the Plymouth Subdivision isn't going nowhere. As always, I'm Logan, and I'll see you trackside.